So there's just simply too many cases and too many policy campaigns that John has led to mention. I think there is one that we do want in this moment to recognize that captures the essence of both the magnitude of his contributions and the commitment to litigating in partnership with grassroots groups. And that's John's efforts in Campaign for Quality Education versus California. Which is a lawsuit that is currently on appeal. John and his team are going after the holy grail of education, which is the adequacy of education finance and school funding. And at stake is the question of whether California will remain 46th out of the 50 states in our school funding, or whether we'll come back to the top 10 and provide every student in this state with the quality education that our Constitution and our communities demand. So, where is this John Affeldt, this mysterious man? John, come on up to the stage. Tonight, we salute you, John, and recognize your enormous contributions to public advocates.
Actually get something. That's very nice. Thank you. I feel like Huck Finn, who just saw his funeral. That was really touching. I really appreciate all the effort that went into that. Now, Guillermo said I have about a minute to reflect on each 5-year period to explain why I'm still here. So here's my John Affeldt lightning round 25-year highlight moments. Most hilarious moment, 1995, a few days before the CBEST teacher testing trial. We need to get our 2,000 exhibits to court. The office has been working all night. The binders are loaded into boxes. We're waiting for the delivery van. The court's about to close. We call upstairs from the street. Judy, what's the name of the messenger service? Air something. At that moment, an airborne van pulls up to the curb in front of our office. Are you here for the court pickup? Yes, he says, the driver, and curiously walks in the building. It's good enough. All right, guys, load it up. Our team opens the back of the van, puts in 30 different boxes. We're all ready to go, closing it up. The driver comes out with his packet in a puzzled look. He says, "Get that crap out of my van." It's the wrong guy. Our van was late. We missed the clerk's window. Somehow sneak that load, this was right after the Oklahoma City bombing, into the federal court building, through the basement, past security, but that's another story. Most emotional moment, 1997. I'm standing alone in a bathroom at the Oakland courthouse, moments away from arguing a TRO to keep prenatal care flowing to thousands of undocumented immigrants. I'm thinking of all the women with gestational diabetes or worse that will go untreated if we fail, and of all their children who will be subject to lifelong disabilities and maybe even death. Tears are welling up in my eyes, and I draw energy from their faceless voices. I blink away the tears and head into the courtroom. the Yvette Doe case saves prenatal care for 40,000 women and their babies. The biggest gut check, 2001. During the CBEST case, the state's own expert study concluded that the test was not job-related as required, recommended quadrupling the time for the test and removing substantial unnecessary content. Those changes are made and benefit thousands, tens of thousands of test takers every year, primarily those of color and non-native English speakers. But a majority of a sharply divided Ninth Circuit 11-judge panel refuses to find the test unlawful. When you pour 10 years of your life into a struggle and end up feeling you walked away with very little, it takes the air out of you. The self-doubts rise, the what-ifs can tear you apart. But in the end, you have to decide to learn what you can from the loss, to pick yourself up, and to move on to the next battle. And that, too, is part of this work. Most satisfying settlement. 2004. Having moved on. Late afternoon August light slants through the Capitol Dome. Liz Guillen and I are pushing through the crowded hallways, full of last-minute lobbyists and deal-making as the session winds down. We've just been on the Senate floor, in the chamber with Senator Vasconcellos, as the Williams bills pass. For the first time, every child will be guaranteed a book of their own to use in class and to take home. School facilities will be held to a standard of good repair, and all teachers of English learners will have to be specially trained to teach them. I smile at Liz and say, above the din, I think our work is done here today. Most satisfying movement victory, 2013. After a decade of grassroots and advocacy effort, Governor Brown signs into law the local control funding formula. Making the most sweeping, equity-minded, and community engagement changes to California school finance in 40 years. Our advocacy and that of our grassroots partners have an extraordinary influence in molding the final bill and regulations. Biggest movement building win to come. 2017. Yesterday, in a 2-to-1 split decision in our school funding challenge, a state court of appeal panel ruled that the previously declared fundamental right to education in California is in fact hollow. The court held that the state cannot be compelled to provide and fund an education of any quality whatsoever. While I wish they'd come out the other way, their ruling will make us stronger. This court has given us the perfect talking points to build out the movement with our partners and eventually prevail. Everyone expects our government to provide an education that prepares graduates to succeed in college and career and life. Nobody wants to be on the wrong side of history, including Supreme Court justices. We will keep fighting, and we will bend the arc of justice toward victory. So why am I still here? Because Public Advocates has let me change and grow over the decades. From litigator to policy wonk to community partner, always keeping the work new and innovative. Because I get to work with the smartest, most passionate colleagues imaginable who make me better every day. And because PA continues to be about bold vision and risk-taking. Great change only flows from bold vision, typically followed by 1,000 small steps, or sometimes by a few long decades. Thank you.